New York Football Giants, they've become the biggest laughingstock in all of the NFL, and it is not even close. I don't want to hear the Jets. I don't want to hear the Titans. I don't want to hear the Browns, because the New York Giants are a team that has been accustomed to being a winning franchise my entire lifetime. Growing up, a Super Bowl champion over the last 4 decades. They've won a Super Bowl in each one of those decades. The only team in the NFL to do that. This has become the ultimate pathetic organization. Before we get into the rest of this video, before we get into the quick breakdown, I don't give a crap about today's game. Before we get into the quick breakdown, there will be some positives, I promise. Share this video, like this video, subscribe to this channel. New York Giants, die hard. We are going to go through this together. We're going to go into this offseason together. We're going to hope for a good head coaching search. I don't know what the hell's going on with the general manager, but there will be daily Giant content coming to you guys almost every single day, probably every single day, because I'm not going to be getting over this until the NFL draft comes. Share, like, subscribe, guys. Once again, please, it'll help grow this channel. On to the New York Football Giants, which has helped us tremendously get through some tough times when I was growing up. Now they're the ones that have created the tough times. They are the ones that have brought us the negativity, the garbage, the purgatory. The Giants are stuck in purgatory, and they cannot get out of it. They can't get out of this situation that they're in. They had to do one thing and one thing only the last 2 weeks, and that is lose these last 2 games to assure themselves of getting the #1 overall pick in the draft. You have Jackson Dart. I cannot repeat myself enough, because some people cannot get it through their heads how important and franchise-changing that this draft could have been had the New York Giants got that #1 pick in the draft, because you have the franchise quarterback in your possession already. Jackson Dart is here, and he's here for the next, hopefully, 10 to 15 years. You don't have to go searching for the quarterback. You're not tanking for a quarterback. You're tanking for more draft capital. If any genius out there says it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter if they got the pick, it doesn't matter they got the 6th pick, it doesn't matter, just get the right player. Genius! I agree with you. We need to get the right player. You could get that player at pick 1. You can get the player at pick 6. But you could get the same player that you wanted at pick #1. You could probably get him at pick number 5 or 6. And also get draft capital back. That's why this draft was so important. Fernando Mendoza is the clear-cut #1 quarterback in coming out of college, correct? I think a lot of people agree on that. Dante Moore has not even declared for the NFL draft yet, but let's just play the hypothetical game that he does declare for the NFL draft. Great. Now he's the #2 pick most likely in the draft, with the Jets probably winding up not having to give up all their draft capital that they've gotten. Great on them. They're probably going to take Dante Moore out of Oregon if they like him enough, depending on what their situation is. But who gives a crap about their situation? Because their situation could have been the Giants' situation by giving us all those draft picks to move up in the draft and take the quarterback. We could have gotten draft picks next year, the year after, 2nd-round picks, 3rd-round picks, multiple 1st-round picks. You could have reshaped your roster in 1 season. 1 season you could have reshaped this roster because of all that draft capital. Now, getting into Joe Schoen coming back. Joe Schoen's coming back. That's the reports. So we're going to act on it as if Joe Schoen's coming back, which I fully pray that he does not come back. You have to wipe the slate clean and fire this general manager. Joe Schoen's coming back, right? Giants are going to finish with probably either the 5th or the 6th pick in the NFL draft. You're still going to get a quality player at that draft pick. I know this already. We're going to get a Caleb Downs, a Carnell Tate, an Arvell Reese, a Jordan Tyson. You're going to get one of these players. The argument that I'm just making is that you still could have gotten one of those guys plus more draft picks. That's the argument. Why would you want just the one guy when you could have that specific player plus major draft picks, draft capital? Why wouldn't you want that as a Giants fan? That's where the rubber's not meeting the road here, whatever the hell that saying is. When people say, oh, it's just the draft pick, are you hearing what I'm saying to you? The player the New York Giants can draft at pick number 5 or 6, they still could take by getting the #1 pick, trading back getting a draft capital haul, getting a complete haul, and still getting the player that you guys covet. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I don't know how Giants fans don't see that. So let's go to Tankathon really quick because I want to get to that. Love this website because it shows me the disappointment that I've been sucking on for the last 5 years as a Giants fan. Tankathon currently has the New York Football Giants stuck at number 5 right now. We all see that? The Giants could still pick as high as number 3, but the Bills, if we do a quick score check, if we go by the score check right now, going by what the Giants need to have happen, the Cardinals are tied up with the Rams at 3. Let's say the Cardinals lose. They're going to go to 3-14. They jump ahead of the Giants. You got the Commanders and Eagles. This is a game that matters for the Giants, whether they're picking 5th or 6th, because if the Commanders win that game, the Giants will stay at 5. If the Commanders lose that game by strength of schedule, the Giants move down to pick number 6. The Jets are losing 7-0. They're probably going to lose, and they're probably going to clinch the number 2 pick without having to give up any of that draft capital. So this is where we stand when it comes to that. Giants won't be picking as high as 3, I don't think. It's either going to be 4, 5, or 6 because the Cleveland Browns won their game today. So that assured the New York Giants that they weren't going to drop to 7. That's where we stand right now. Joe Schoen coming back, what I wanted to get into. If you're a head coach, okay? If you're a head coach and you have some success, you have a McCarthy type resume, or you're the next hot shot coordinator coming out, like a Chris Shula, right? Like a Jeff Hafley from Green Bay. You're the next hot shot name. Why would you come to the New York Giants? All right, put yourself in their shoes. Why would you come to the New York Giants if you have a general manager that's going to hire you as the next head coach? Now next year, your rope is going to be so thin on the Giants getting off to a good start. Because if the Giants go into next year, they hire a coordinator, let's just say. Let's say it's a Chris Shula, and Joe Schoen's back. Giants go 5-12 next year. Same old stuff. Joe Schoen will be fired. Now, I'm Chris Shula. I don't know what the hell my job status is now because the guy who hired me is gone. The guy who gave me an opportunity just got fired. So now if the next general manager comes in here, the Giants are going to they might have to do one of two things. Now you hire the next general manager with a head coach in place already. Now you're going down one of two roads. The first road is the New York Giants bring in a general manager that likes the current head coach. Now that limits your crops. That limits your pool. Or you bring in a general manager that's just going to wipe everything clean, and now you just fired a guy in the next head coach of the Giants who could have been the answer for the Giants, which we won't know. Do you see how ass backwards this whole thing is now? It's so backwards. This is why you don't do this. The Jacksonville Jaguars last year kept their general manager. Fans flipped the hell out. The Jaguars made Liam Cohen, the current head coach of the Jaguars, they made him the number 1 target on their team. They wanted him to be the head coach. They interviewed him to be the head coach. We're going to give him the position. He didn't want to come to the Jaguars because of the general manager being in a lame duck situation. Does that sound familiar, Giants fans? Does it sound familiar? Because Liam Cohen said, you know what, I don't want to do this. I'm going to go back to Tampa Bay and sign a 3-year extension just to stay the offensive coordinator of the Buccaneers. That's when Shad Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, said, F this, we're firing the general manager because that's the coach we want here. Sound familiar? Because that's the situation that will save the New York Giants. Is if they get a head coach that they covet so much, and that head coach or multiple head coaches come in and say, I can't do this with a general manager that's under a 1-year deal. I don't have the faith that I'm not going to have the backing of the next guy that comes in here. Enough coaches have to say that to the Maras and to the Tishes for them to say, and it shouldn't have to get this far. I'm a nobody with a podcast. I'm a nobody. And I'm telling you, it shouldn't have to get that far for the Maras and the Tishes to make the decision to let Joe Schoen go. It shouldn't have to get that far. but it might have to get that far. You might have to go with that blueprint, even though it's a wacky blueprint. And it's working out tremendously for the Jaguars now. AFC South champs. Or them or the 10, they're going to be in the playoffs, the number 3 seed. It's working out perfectly for them. They got the guy they wanted. This is why it was so important for the Giants to get the first pick. Because at least if they had the first pick and you brought Joe Schoen back, you're giving Joe Schoen enough rope of an opportunity to possibly come up with a massive trade and hopefully hit on a lot of players. Hopefully. But now you're bringing back the general manager with the same stuff, same garbage. So that's where we stand right now. And the game today, I loved the way Dart played. I loved everything. It's just really tough. And that throw was sick. The underhand throw to Bellinger for the touchdown. It infuriates me that I can't put much stock into these two games with the Giants because the Giants seem to be going all out, balls to the wall. We're going to win these games. And the Raiders actively benched their best players, so they assured themselves to lose. Dallas benched their best players in the second half to not to assure they lose, but to avoid maybe any sort of serious injury that would come into next season, which is smart on their part. They had really nothing to play for. But Dallas benched everybody. I'm not going to put that much stock into the Giants beating a Raiders team that didn't want to be on the field and a Cowboys team that, you know what, if they lost, I don't think the Cowboys are going to be that angry that the Giants are missing out on that first or second pick. All right? That's where we stand right now with the G-Men. This sucks. I'm pissed. I'll get over it. I'll definitely get over this. I promise I'll get over it. But I'm not going to be fooled anymore as long as Joe Schoen is the general manager of this football team. They're going to go into 2026. They're going to make a lot of free agent moves. They're going to have a good draft. They're going to get a lot of good players added to this team. Maybe even Joe Schoen will pull off another Brian Burns type trade. We don't know. But I will not be fooled anymore by this franchise. I'm not going into 2026 optimistic right now. I'm not going to be fooled anymore until they actually show that they could start winning games consistently. If you guys got this far in the video, thank you so much. Like, share, subscribe on Instagram, TikTok, X, Pudgy Boys with a Z, on all of that stuff. I am on that constantly. I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you. Until the next one, thank you, Giants, for making this season so much fun for 1 or 2 weeks, and then for the rest of it, complete dog crap.